This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello, welcome to the BSR MX5 Pro Series live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Stan Fitzpatrick, and tonight I'm joined by Tyler Maxson in the booth and on the cameras as well. We are just getting up for race 1 of 4 currently. It's Jason Cooper, championship leader, or sorry, not championship leader, but he's on pole position certainly, alongside Charlie Sons with Jack Ashton. He is championship leader in 3rd. Luke Cooper starts in 4th with Steve Hefford in 5th. That's Adam McNally, Niles Carstensen, Jamie Ayres, Pete Bangle, and Alex Cherney rounding out the top 10, and the rest of your grid will quickly shuffle through for you now. Tyler, who's going to win this one?
You can never call it here. Welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and Apex Racing TV, as well as to the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Yeah, but you just can never call what's going to happen in one of these BSR MX5 races, especially up here in the Pro Series. It's just such close action. As we get ready to go, the lights are going to come on now as we get 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. The cars are rolling here for the first race of the evening. And as they get off the line, Jason Cooper, your pole sitter, a great jump off the line. Everyone pretty much going to try to get in single file, it looks like. And no one's going to really make any moves up and towards turn 1. Everyone pretty much going single file all the way through.
Yes, I've been interrupting you there, but yeah, Luke Cooper just getting ahead of Jack Ashton up into 3rd position, but apart from that, you're absolutely right. Not too many changes whatsoever, very civil starts, and actually trying to get back that 3rd position into turn 4 is Jack Ashton, but just having to settle in behind in that car at the moment. So as we go through this slightly alternative layout, the long layout at Sonoma we are using today. So many different layouts, of course, but this, I think, probably the favourite amongst the drivers, as Cooper actually dropping back a little bit into Ashton, going into the best overtaking spot on the entire track potentially, but it's tough to go around the outside. It's a double apex left-hander this, and it's so difficult to get all the speed around the outside, and now a little bit of contact, but it's just going to work brilliantly there for Jack Ashton, and he moves up into 3rd position. Maybe moving up into 4th is Steve Hefford, just about pulling his car ahead. Almost contact between the two. There is contact between the two, and this has turned into an awful first lap now for Steve Hefford, who is across and maybe even making contact with other drivers. Does a good job at getting it back onto the sand, but well, that all of a sudden very much kicked off, and very disappointing start for a couple of the drivers there.
Yeah, and everyone going all over the place now, just trying to make up any sort of moves they can, going through the Sonoma S's. And as they head into the final corner now, your leader after lap 1 is going to be Jason Cooper, but he's followed really close behind by Charlie Summers. Those are Swift Cooper Esports teammates, and they also got to remember, though, there is a reverse grid in this series, so drivers that are a little bit farther back don't have to worry about it too much going through the rest of the night, as they will be able to benefit from the reverse grid. But Jamie Ayres in 5th. He is putting pressure here on Adam McNally in the Excite iRacing car, and we've also got him battling just further behind. Everyone staying within a couple of tenths of each other as there's a move being made. I believe that was Scott Malcolm going by David Ayres as they head up the hill now into 3A, and they will all pretty much stay single file again as we have a crash, and that is Ralph Coulihan as he is way off the circuit, and he will drop back a lot of positions, so that will cost him a ton of time there. Collar Hardy going side by side with Steve Cooley. Cooley will get the position as they head through the carousel now and onto the drag strip. It is going to be Hardy, though. He's going to get the better run out of the drag strip and down into the very, very tricky double apex left-hander. But Cooley is down his inside, so he will have to leave the space. Cooley isn't going to back out of it. Hardy stays in the lead of the third, actually, I'm sorry, of the AM race.
Yeah, because that's because Carl Jacquelet has had a really good start up into 10th place, up 4 places from his start. Also, Rob Graham up in 2nd place. Not a fantastic start for him. He has actually lost that AM lead. A little bit of side-by-side here. Steve Hefford, after that awful start, he's trying to cover some places, currently in 26th position. At least I'm showing him as almost losing the car on the exit. You get so many overtakes into this, and we might even have 3 wide. This surely can't go well, and well, I'm not sure if it did end too well amongst those drivers in the end. Yeah, a little bit of contact just hearing in the background. So you just scrape the outside wall as they start lap 3 now. Ben Sharp just staying ahead of Nick McCarron. Currently the top 3 drivers out there really pulling away from the rest. That's Jack Ashton a little bit, Jamie Ayres a little bit by himself. Well, of course, up 4 positions after the kerfuffle we saw earlier on. And Ben Sharp having a pretty good race for himself, currently in 11th position. Potentially a little bit of contact here, and there was a little bit of contact, I think, just ahead. I think that may have been, Plowman just almost spinning around, but doesn't lose any positions at the moment, at least.
Yeah, and Brian Holmes also trying to make up a spot here on David Ayres. He's going to look down the inside into the carousel. This is such a difficult place to make a pass here, being that it is such a long corner, and it's so easy for the drivers to hold the outside, get the run onto the drag strip straight. I was racing here just 2 weeks ago in Pro League World Challenge. Ended up picking up 2 wins here in this exact same car, so I do know my way around this circuit a fair good amount. But yeah, this is just such a fun circuit to race on in real life and in the sim. They did an absolutely awesome job in replicating it in the sim. Martin Plowman, though, is really feeling the pressure here from Adam Delmont. He is all over the back of him, is Delmont, and he's looking to make a position, I think. The best overtaking spot, though, on the entire track, I will have to say, is down into this final corner, and this is where you can really outbrake people if you get in deep on the brakes. You can just easily outbrake them.
Goes Delmont, I think that was. Just getting tapped a little bit at that hairpin, as you were talking about, and yeah, Delmont losing a whole ton of places there. Maybe even having to let a few others go. I think he may have even cut the circuit, so that's awful for Adam Delmont, because he's lost about 8 places.
Yeah, Carl Hardy also moving up into what I think is 17th place. Yes, he is. So he's up into 16th, overall, getting by Aiden Hendy. And Hendy is now having to chase down Hardy. But Hardy is on a move, though. He is moving back forward in this field. He's not too far away from 2nd place in the AM category, Rob Graham, who is currently just 1 driver, and then it's Rob. So he doesn't have much room to go. And Graham is Cameron, who is looking all over the place. Cameron down the inside, and I think he is going to be able to get that move done unless Graham can get a better run off the corner down the drag strip straight away. It's not hard to do if you can get the good run through the carousel, hanging it around the outside, and you can just really get a nice straight exit, then you should be able to easily make up the position, and he is able to do so, and Hardy makes up a position there on Craig Cameron. So Craig Cameron now actually able to fight back, and they stay in the order they were in. But yeah, it's such a difficult corner, though, to make a pass in if you are trying to go too wide and the drag strip corner, because it's a double apex, and it's very easy to hold around the outside, get the better run down the straightaway, and get yourself up a position.
Yeah, definitely. Plenty of unique corners around this second, particularly that double tight right-hander. Of course, it's kind of the emergence of 2 different circuits, so it's not really meant to be designed like that. As we go back down the field, Ben Mears having a little bit of a battle. Also, Ewan Ursum, who's the leader of the AM Championship, having a great day of it at the moment. Of course, still got races 2, 3, and 4 to maybe redeem himself. Really going for an aggressive move there is Dave Hampson, who's going down the inside through the opening corner. And just as stay put now, gets a little bit of contact from just behind. And that was James McRitchie just tapping his way through. And David Hampson will not be happy about that. We might see 3 wide here. Hampson trying to fend off a couple of cars. and he might just fend off one of them, which was better than it was looking for him when he was trundling along after losing all his momentum. Scott Malcolm, as he does, Scott Malcolm, one of the most experienced drivers out in the field, he can just always navigate his way through the storms like this. And once again, he's up 8 places from his race start. That's up more places than any other driver, I believe, at the moment. So Malcolm having a good run of it, just had ahead of Adam Delmont. Will Delmont have a go? No, but you can see how if you go for a move into that chicane, into that double right-hander, then you're just leaving yourself so vulnerable to the cars behind. So it's really a racecraft circuit, this, and then of course through this S section, pretty much impossible for setting yourself up for a move down into the hairpin at the end of the lap.
Yeah, it's pretty much, and whenever they get into the section, it's all about setting themselves up down into the hairpin, because if a driver can get a good run on you and get down your inside going into the hairpin, there's absolutely nothing that you can do to defend from him, because they're going to have the overspeed, and it's easy to hang it round the outside through the small little kink that you have on the front straightaway. And there you go. Adam Delmont is now by Scott Malcolm. He's just able to get the run off the corner, and it doesn't honestly hurt you to hold the car tight through there, because there's so much forces getting the car to move there. So it's one of those corners where it's very, very easy to pass, very, very hard to defend.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, perfect demonstration. Thank you, Adam, there for proving us right for once. Carl Yacolet still leading the way in the AM drivers. How far is he ahead of Rob Graham? About 6 seconds, actually. So Carl doesn't have to push this one too hard, and he should be able to still win out of those drivers. But I'm sure, it's a long old season, this. So if you're thinking in that mentality for all 136 races, then, well, it's not going to be much of a fun season for you. So I have no doubt that it's going to be a little bit more ambitious than that. As, yeah, Rob Graham once again in this pack 5-car battle. We've also got a tremendous battle just behind. Difficult to get your bearings into this one because it's almost 3 wide. Front and back. Steve Cooley loses a couple of positions there, just a little bit too tentative on the inside, perhaps wisely so. And now he's going to lose a 4th position now to Scott Malcolm. So Cooley having an awful run of corners, and yet Malcolm making that move. So yeah, really terrible for him.
Yeah, definitely not what he wanted at all as they run through that section. It is currently Adam Delmont leading that train, Mikey Key in the 4th AM car. He is down there in 20th place overall, but he's in the 2nd in that train. But Steve Hefford looking for a position here. He almost gets to the rear bumper there at Kip Stevens. Just kind of scared him into a little bit of a release of the brake, and he's just able to get that move done. We'll see if Stevens can get anything down into turn 1, and he is actually going to clear Steve Hefford before he even gets to turn 1.
Yeah, trying to do the overcut now, but it's ever so difficult to go around the outside in this turn 2 as Jason McRitchie tries to do it, just gets a little bit stopped on the apex, and all of a sudden now he's under pressure from David Ayres. It's, well, be attacked or attack yourself at the moment. But, well, he just had to settle in behind there, all those drivers taking the racing line in the end. By the way, in the lead, Jason Cooper still leading the way. Is he leading the way? I'm not quite sure. No, yeah, Jason Cooper still leading the way. Apologies. 8 tenths to a second ahead of Charlie Summers. They're dropping Jack Ashton at the moment with Jamie Ayres and Adam McNally currently in 4th and 5th. But the action is going on behind. It's safe to say. Certainly not a dull moment in this series ever. As we go back to this Kip Stevens and Adam Delmont and Mikey Key battle. Stevens just sitting in behind Delmont, going down the inside. He's already made a few moves today. And, well, I think this is going to be another one of them. But they're side by side going into the SS section. Not quite sure which is the better line. Delmont really confident, and now there is contact between the 2 of them. Stevens does a fantastic job at avoiding the pair of them, and well, there could be more cars caught up in the background there. So terrible couple of corners there.
Yeah, definitely not what they wanted. I think that was just how it looked. He just didn't give them enough room, and that cost them both a ton of time. I mean, there's a lot of positions, and that is going to pretty much break up that train. But Brian Holmes, Rob Graham, Craig Cameron, Carl Hardy, and Adrian Hendy they're all going to be going to battle here as they head through turn 1 up towards turn 2. Rob Graham is going to have the inside line, and he is not going to be able to get the move done. They're still going to be side by side going up through turn 2, but Graham not having to get up on the curb is going to help him, and he is going to be able to get that move done. Now, Craig Cameron is going to be on the tack behind him, trying to get by Brian Holmes there, but Holmes getting a good run through 3 and 3A, and he is not going to be able to, but he is going to actually, Brian Holmes is going to be able to challenge Rob Graham going through turn 5 and into the carousel, and he is going to be able to possibly get that move done. They're still going to be side by side through the carousel, but they are, I think it's going to be Brian Holmes with the better run. He did have that outside line, so could carry possibly a little bit more speed than Graham. And I think Carl Hardy is also going to be looking to the inside with Graham to try to make up another spot, but he is not. He is going to think better of that one, and they're still going to be side by side. Brian Holmes, absolutely holding his own against Rob Graham. They're going to go side by side in the same spot that Key and can't quite remember who else it was, but they just crashed one lap ago. But they are going to get through cleanly this time.
Yeah, nicely done. And Holmes is going to try to come back on Dusty. A little bit of a slide there, just behind. I think we're getting into no, it's yeah, final lap now. Actually, for the race leaders, I assume it's a 1:45 lap round this second. So yeah, final lap for the race leaders. And it's sorry, someone's got ahead of Cooper then. That must have happened quite recently. So Summers looking like he's going to be able to win this race. And yeah, so a nice move there from him to get ahead of Cooper as McNally. Almost contact once again. Just fantastic to see these MX5s just leaning on the tyres, going side by side. Really does show the confidence and the skill of these drivers, most of the time at least. As Craig Cameron still behind Graham and Holmes. But, well, is there going to be any last lap lunge? Of course, there's not too much to lose from this position. They can still score points, even if they do retire on this last lap of the races. Graham looks as though he's going to lose out to Holmes this time. Holmes round the outside, trying to carry the speed through. Graham almost understaying into his rival. And they're going to be pretty evenly matched on the exit as well. Probably Graham with the Holmes with the slightly better line. And just pulls ahead. Can Graham respond once again? He's opened the door for his rival, but Graham can't take it as the race leaders actually into their final few corners right now.
Yeah, the race leaders heading through the final few corners, and I believe it will be Jason Cooper who will take the victory here in the first race of the night. And we'll see how the reverse grid affects them. Luke Cooper, though, they're going too wide through the final corner. Luke Cooper going to try to get the run here on Peter Van Gool, and I think he is going to be able to get the run. They're too wide ahead of him, Alex Cherney. And for Swift Cooper, it's the two Swift Cooper boys, and Niels Carstensen will finish in 7th. Alex Kearney in 8th. Peter Van Gool and Luke Cooper, that is 9th. Carl Jacquelet, your highest AM, will finish in 10th. Ben Sharp and Martin Plowman, that's 11th and 12th. Nick McCarron and Brian Holmes. And we do have a bit of a battle there as someone has blown up the engine, it looks like. I don't quite know who that is, but someone has blown up the engine there, so not how they want to finish out their night as well. And as we just wait on all the drivers to sort themselves out here and sort themselves through the final couple of corners, we will just get everything sorted and ready to go here and run through the final race results and get the reverse grid wheel rolling.
Yeah, always good fun. The reverse grid, of course, we've got 3 of them in this series, which, well, I'm personally not used to. I usually get 1 at most, but no, 3 absolutely fantastic. And yeah, just the final few corners coming through. But yeah, like I said, 3 more races this evening, so certainly don't turn away from the iRacing esports network. As Adam Delmont had a little bit of a war out there, it's safe to say. Hopefully, of course, when the iRacing new damage model comes out, I would love to see, you know, bonnets being blown about, because let's face it, I think there'd be a bit of a tip, I think, at the end of one of these races, undoubtedly with expired MX5 parts. as I think all the drivers have now crossed the line, so he can take you through your final order. And it was Jason Cooper winning out in the end ahead of Charlie Summers, so we got back ahead of Summers right at the end. Sorry that we couldn't bring you that piece of action. Of course, you can see it was pretty action-packed just behind. Jack Ashton just couldn't quite keep up with those top two, ends up third in the end. Jamie Ayres was in fourth with Adam McNally in fifth. There was Niles Carstensen in sixth, Alex Cherney in seventh, Pete Van Gool in eighth, Luke Cooper in ninth, and Carl Yacolet in 10th place. And I believe the winner of the AM drivers, I believe. So well done to him. Ben Sharp was in 11th with Martin Palman just behind. There was Nick McKern, Brian Holmes, Rob Graham, Adrian Hendy, Steve Hefford, Kip Stevens, Cesar Rizzo, and Craig Cameron rounding out the top 20. And then behind that was Carl Hardy, Scott Malcolm, David Hampson, Ashley Beard, David Ayres, Steve Cooley, Charles Kellyman, Joe McDonald, Ralph Cullinan, James McRitchie, Ewan Ursum, Roy Viverke, Abdulkar Al-Amri, Michael Key, Ben Mears, Steve Hansford, Dale Benison, Stuart Dick, Adam Delmont, and then the drivers one lap down. He will still score points, I believe, at least. Liam Silkston and Andy Maxwell, but then these two drivers will not score points. Martin Sampson and Josh Fairfield. So only 2 retirements, and considering that we don't get a fast pair, that's pretty impressive considering the amount of action we saw out there. Can't wait for race 2. What is the grid going to be like, Tyler?
So we're just about to roll the reverse grid wheel here. There we go. We'll go ahead and set it rolling. So we wait for just a second here. And I think we are going to get 15. So that, from my calculations, will put Rob Graham on the pole. So Rob Graham will be on the pole for race 2. Martin Holmes in second, Nick McCarron in third, Martin Plowman in fourth, and Ben Sharp in fifth. So that is going to be your top 5 for next race. As we get ready to go, we will go to a quick commercial break here in the iRacing Esports Network. Back in just a few minutes for race 2.
flash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Racely to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit crash sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though. Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Leonard drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Makashube, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to the BSR MX5 Pro Series, live on the iRacing Esports Network. This broadcast being presented to you by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and once again I am joined alongside by Tyler Maxson. And Tyler, we saw a nice race one, undoubtedly. Plenty of action, as you can guess, really, and quite a bit of controversy as well, and quite a small reverse grid as well, which kind of gives the front runners of the first race a realistic chance at maybe winning this one as well.
Yes, it really does. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series. But yeah, really small reverse grid. Only 15 drivers. We're used to seeing usually full reverses in this series. So the fact that we only had a 15 driver reverse grid is a little bit something new. So it's going to play a challenge for the drivers that did have a DNF in the first race, maybe thinking that they weren't going to be able to really benefit from a reverse grid, not being able to do that. It was only a 15 driver reverse grid. So it will be Brian Holmes on the pole alongside Luke Cooper and Steve. Oh, sorry. I actually take that back. I was looking at practice results. But here's the grid on your screen. Rob Graham will start on the pole alongside Brian Holmes. Nick McCarron and Martin Plowman will make up row 2. Ben Sharp and Carl Jacquelet will make up row 3. Luke Cooper and Peter Van Gogh is 7th and 8th. Alex Cherney and Niels Carstensen in 9th and 10th. Adam McNally and Jamie Ayers in 12th. We cycle through here now. Jack Ash, that will be row. Jason Cooper and Adrian Hendy is 15 and 16. Steve Hevard in 17th. Kip Stevens in 18th. Cecilio Rizzo in 19th. Craig Cameron in 20th. Then we get down into 21st, and the third or fourth AM driver, I think, Carl Hardy in 21st. Scott Malcolm in 22nd. Dave Hampson, 28th. Charlie Ashbeard in 24th. David Ayers in 25th. Stephen Cooley in 26th. Charles Kellyman in 27th. Joe McDonald in 28th. And I think we are just about to get ready to go here as the lights are going to come on, and away we go here for race 2 of the evening. Graham is going to get a good start. He is going to get ahead, but they're going to make error, and that is going to allow Martin Plowman to make his way up into possibly up into the lead here, and he's going to make contact. Plowman around. That's going to cause a lot of contact further back. Everyone crashing here on the first lap. I can hardly even select any drivers here on my live time because it's just freaking out. But that was a first turn incident if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, absolutely. So many drivers, so ambitious, desperately trying to get the race lead. And, well, now it's Brian Holmes currently leading the way after all of that. Plenty of drivers having issues. Certainly Rizzo and Hampson and McDonald and Plowman all getting involved. Also Cheney as well. And Jack Ashton as well, the championship leader, having issues down there. As Alan Delmont's trying to find his way through. He was in the wars in race 1. I think he might be in the wars in this one as well, as the driver goes really wide there. And yeah, everyone just sorting themselves out currently. It's yeah, Holmes leading the way, Yakler up 4 positions, also Cooper up 4 positions, so second and third are those two. But after that crazy turn 1 seems to have all calmed down a little bit as they enter the S's.
Enter the S section now. They're just going to make their way through. Everyone now is going to start to file in single file as they head through the S section. It's not really an area that you want to be going too wide through unless you really for sure have the move made. But even still, it is a very, very risky situation. But a driver that did actually make up some good spots off the line is Jason Cooper. He's up 2 spots off the starting position, is now up into 13th. Adrian Hendy up 4 spots. He has had a good start as well. So all these and being able to benefit from the first turn carnage, but as we know, the carnage never stops here in the BSR MX5 Pro Series, as every driver is fighting for every last inch they can get on the racetrack.
That's absolutely correct. So I expect this one to go on for a while. As we got a cut off there. Who was that? That was Nick McCarron, I think, or maybe Ashley Beard having an incident. Or maybe even Ben Sharp, actually. Lots of drivers picking up objects. Very difficult to keep track of everything. As Jamie is looking for the inside currently. He's alongside Rob Graham. As just about pulling ahead at the moment. You've got McNally and Carstensen. Also Summers all piling in behind. Could even have 3 wide into the double right-hander. As Ayres just actually pulling away. Graham losing out now to Summers just behind. And has to drop down into 8th position. The driver who's starting on pole position and actually escaped yeah, that first corner in the lead. But since then has really fallen down the order, down into 8th place now. But certainly will not be the end of his hopes of maybe a top 5.
Yeah, and as Carl Jacquelet, he's feeling the pressure right now from Luke Cooper into the fire. Jacquelet defends the inside, Cooper to the outside. This should give Cooper the better run, though, off the corner, and possibly a run down towards turn 1 and up towards turn 2. So we'll see if Cooper can make anything with that. Right now, though, Jacquelet actually has a good run through the first, through turn 1, and he is able to defend that position up into the turn 2 section as we see 2 drivers going 2 by 2. Here it is Rob Graham defending here from Adrian Hendy, and Jason Cooper also looking to make up a position here. Cooper will slot himself up into that is 10th position, sorry, and Steve Hefford also able to make up a move there on Adrian Hendy, but Hendy's going to come back at him though down the inside, and he is going to be able to get that move done. But Adam McNally and Charlie Summers, they're also going side by side as they head down into the carousel section. Summers is just going to concede that position, but I think he's going to try to get the run now down the drag strip straight, and we'll see if he can get the move done down in the drag strip corner, but I just don't think he's going to be close enough.
Oh, he's going to have a look down the inside, and he is going to go for it now. So a little bit of a late move, takes a lot to the curb on the inside, but of course that MX5 can really deal with that impressively. And he makes that move, so really nice work there from Charlie Summers up into 6th place from 14th on the grid. And these guys, a lot of AM drivers, kind of mixed around. Got Brian as the Rob Graham, leader of the AM drivers, way ahead of these guys. But everyone else in a big pack in that AM field. One of them, Benjamin Mears. As Jack Ashton trying to actually recover after that awful start for him. And he's going to be pretty rapid moving through the field. I think we've got a big crash just ahead of this, hitting a lot of contact. And it's actually Beard Round was running in the top 8, but he's had an off. And also Rob Graham dropping down the field very quickly. I wonder if he's got a little bit of damage on that car. Seems to be struggling also.
Yeah, and I'm just going to try to get a replay spooled up for you. We will look at that post-race and see if there's anything that we can see from the replay. But as we work our way through now lap 4, it is a 9-lap race now, so these drivers are not on time anymore. They're currently on laps. We're currently working lap 4 of 9, so we just have about 4 more laps to go after this one for these drivers to complete here at Sonoma International Raceway. But we're seeing a lot of battling all the way through the field. The AM class here having an absolutely awesome battle as they work their way into the carousel section. But it is currently Carl Hardy in second place in the AMs. Carl Jacquelet currently in second place overall, and getting pressured by Luke Cooper. But he is currently has the AM lead here by a long shot. Ron Graham in second, Carl Hardy in third. And then it's as they head into drag strip corner, and currently Hardy having to defend here from Charles Kellyman, I believe. Actually, I'm sorry about that. We have Adam Delmont, having to defend from your AM second place, Rob Graham. So Graham hasn't had the best of starts. He's gone down 15 positions off his starting spot, so not the race that he would have been wanting to have here in race number 2, but hopefully can benefit from the reverse grid, as Alex Cherney as well in the Swift Cooper Esports car is also not having a good day. 16 spots down off the start. Ben Sharp as well, 22 spots down. So these drivers not having the race that they would have wanted in race number 2. And that's someone going around, and that's caused a bigger collision. Ben Sharp into the wall, and I think that was Alex Cherney. Yes, it was. So there's a big incident there in the last corner, and that's going to cause several drivers to get involved.
Yeah, no, Benison was involved. I think Beard and Silkston and Rayfield and Hansford, I think, all getting involved in that pile-up. No faults of their own, and that's the difficulty of that pit wall that's never ever so close to the circuit. And it's so easy just to make contact with that, rebound onto the circuit, and then effectively cause a roadblock. Imagine that at the front of the field on lap 1 would not be pretty whatsoever. But hopefully we won't have that in races 3 or 4. Nick McCann trying to get the cut back currently on Kip Stevens. But wasn't a terrific run, to be honest, for McCann. You would have hoped for a little bit more than that on the exit of the corner. Fair thing is, a little bit under pressure from the driver behind. Also got side by side between McRitchie and Delmont. McRitchie just getting ahead of Delmont currently, with Rob Graham only just behind. So Graham must have damage. McRitchie still going side by side with Delmont. He just seems to always be in the centre of the action, and they're still going side by side. Delmont just about with the better run, and now all of a sudden it's Rob Graham who's trying to retaliate after all those positions, lost all that damage obtained. He's not backing down. Neither is Pete Van Gool, who's having a good run out there. But back to this one, because Graham moves ahead as we've got a driver into the pits, James McRitchie. So clearly picking up a bit of damage there with McRitchie. Not quite sure where he would have picked that up. It doesn't look too bad on his car currently.
Yeah, he just blew the engine going through the last bit of the S section. Saw the big puff of smoke there. And yeah, so he is going to be done here for race number 2. Not the way he wants to end race 2. But he does have the reverse grid to possibly benefit him. There's still the battle, though, for second place overall. Luke Cooper still trying to get by Carl Jacquelet. So he's still having an issue with it. So Jacquelet definitely holding his own up front in second place overall. He's currently 3.4 seconds back from Brian Holmes, who at this point, being 6 laps in, doesn't really have to worry about anyone catching him. Jason Cooper as well, moving his way up into 7th place right now. He is currently putting pressure on Niels Carstensen. 2 Swift Cooper Esports cars currently right there. So they are currently chasing out Peter Bangle in the SimLab car as they work their way now through the drag strip turn. And they will get the run out of there. And I think they are actually going to get the better run through the S section as we saw Peter Bangle get very, very sideways. As Nick McCarron as well. They're still battling here with Craig Cameron. So Cameron is going to get the better run off the corner, but he's also got to keep in mind they have Adam Delmont just behind, who is currently going to have the better of the run. He didn't go side by side like they did, as it is Cameron off ahead of him, but Delmont is getting the better run, so he's than these drivers are, because you can see he is just not sliding around the same way they are, as Almeri as well going side by side with Charles Kellyman. So Kellyman is going to hold the inside, but I think, yes, Almeri is going to get them, and that's someone over.
Yeah,
that is
okay. Because, yeah, doing multiple flips there, and once again, that pit wall strikes, and plenty of barrel rolls there, as it is now all of a sudden losing a position to Summers, but Summers can't get it stuck quite yet. Being a driver moving through the field so far. So got Cooper just behind, trying to get past Van Gool. And all the way around the outside. Of course, Carstensen also just on the tail. Nice one for Niles. But yeah, Cooper now pulling alongside. But really not getting that launch whatsoever, despite trying to take a short line. And he just cannot get past Van Gool whatsoever. Brilliant defense currently from the Mazda driver. And, well, through the section, really nothing that Cooper can do.
Yeah, I would actually like to try and spool up a replay for you as they came out of the carousel. I think that there was a bit of contact there between Peter Bangle and Jason Cooper, which caused him to get such a bad run out of the corner. It definitely would explain it, why he would have gotten that worse run. But there's a great battle. So Steve Hefford is trying to move up some spots. He's lost 8 spots off his starting position, so he needs to really move himself up through the field here. But he's currently sitting at 25th place, so not right where he wants to be. But this is a battle really stretching all the way up to about 18th place. There's only 3 seconds between these drivers all the way up to 18th, so there's not a whole lot of time to cover for the drivers, even all the way back as far as Steve Hefford really can move themselves way up here in this race. Jamie Ayers, though, and Charlie Summers still going to battle here, and the better run through turn 4 and down into the carousel section, but we'll see if he can get his way through.
Yeah, he's yeah, still defending against Summers, and mightily so. Back to the Van Gool Cooper battle, because seems like Cooper finally has got the move done. Here comes Carstensen, though. He's going to try to make it 3 wide, but no, Carstensen just puts his car on the inside. That was a really nice move there. Peter Van Gool's been fantastic so far in defense, and now there's almost contact between all 3 of them, and round goes Carstensen. He positioned his car so well on the corner before, but maybe just going a little bit too aggressive, and he will lose at least a position to Hendy and McNally. But as long as he hasn't got too much damage, that might be the extent of his trouble. So nice battle between those 3, but Carstensen just ending up a little bit too aggressive, perhaps. This, of course, lap 8 of the race. We've got 1 more lap to go, and yeah, so home to head of Yakula. Cooper, Ayres, Summers still trying to get past. As you can see, ever so close between these 2, and then you go back a long way. The field's fed quite remarkable, considering that this race has been only less than a quarter of an hour in length, as Simpson just losing a position there. But I think it's this one that we've got to pay attention to, as all of a sudden Yakula and Cooper just losing a bit of time there, and all of a sudden we've gone from 2 pairs to 1 quadruplet, I think it's called.
Yes, and they did go down into now a group of 4 cars. I believe you are right. I believe it is a quadruplet. But, yeah, so they are really now going to have some issues with these drivers behind, because obviously Ayers and Summers are very, very quick drivers. I know stretch of they're very, very, very fast. So they are going to have some troubles possibly for Carl Jacquelet, but it really doesn't matter for him. He will still take home the win in the AM Championship, even if he finishes behind all these drivers, because he is battling up here with the pros. But they're all still single file, no one really making a move. So if Charlie Summers wants to get up into second place, he's really going to have to start making some progress, or even Jamie Ayers, if he's going to want to get up into second place, he's really going to have to start making progress, and he's going to have to start making it now, because we are heading now towards the checkered flag, as there's a bit of battling now closer, a little bit farther single file, but there you go. Scott Malcolm, I believe, is going to be second in that train, as somebody is around. That's Carl Hardy, so he's going to lose 3-4 spots, maybe even a fifth, as they head through the S section. But Brian Holmes is going to take home the victory here in race 2. Carl Jacquelet is going to come home in third. Jamie Ayers in fourth. Charlie Summers in fifth. Jason Cooper in sixth. Peter Bangle 7th. And Adrian Hendy in 8th currently, but we'll see if right across the line, and it's going to be Hendy, McNally, Carstensen, Kip Stevens, Adam Delmont, Craig Cameron, Nick McCarron. Rob Graham is going to come home in 15th. Roy Bernaski in 16th.
I go for. That might be wrong, but apologies, Roy, because I probably said your name wrong plenty of times, but we may as well both get it wrong equally.
Yes, I'm one thing that I have not been good at is name pronunciation, and I love it whenever the series provide me a pronunciation sheet, because it just is able to help me with pronouncing every one of these names, especially whenever it's foreign names. I'm absolutely terrible. So, as we're just waiting on everyone now to finish up, and we will get the reverse grid all queued up and ready to go, as we just have the final few drivers rounding the final few corners. Mikey Key, he has not had a good race at all. He moved down several positions from his starting position. The non-finishers, Jack Ashton, Almari, and McRitchie, so they are your non-finishers here today. Definitely not how they wanted to end off the night for either of those drivers. A couple of those drivers ending up on their roofs here in race number 2, so not the most ideal second race for some of these drivers, as race results are ready. So whenever you're ready, Sam.
Yes, and it's Brian Holmes taking away a comfortable victory, it must be said in the end. 4.5 seconds in front of a very impressive Carl Jacquelet. Well done to him. Winner of the AM drivers as well. Luke Cooper was in third with Jamie Ayres in fourth. Then it was Charlie Summers in fifth. Jason Cooper in sixth. Peter Van Gogh in seventh. Then it's Adrian Hendy, Adam McNally, and Niles Carstensen just having a spin at the end. He ends up in the top 10 there. Ever so close, by the way, between McNally and Carstensen. Less than a tenth of a second, as we saw. Then behind that was Kip Stevens, Adam Delmont, Craig Cameron, Nick McCann, Rob Graham, Roy Viverke, Stuart Dick, Scott Malcolm, Steve Hefford, Ben Mears, Carl Hardy, David Hampson, Ewan Ursum, Cesar Rizzo, Alex Cherney, Martin Sampson, Andy Maxwell, Joe McDonald, Steve Cooley, Steve Hansford, Liam Silkston, Josh Rayfield, Dale Bennison, Ralph Cullinan, Charles Kellyman, and Michael Key. Those were the drivers on the lead lap, and also within one lap. So those will be the drivers who are eligible for the reverse grid, and also the drivers who will score points. Unfortunately, the drivers who will not score points are Jack Ashton. Remember, one of the leaders in the championship, and he finishes 2 laps down after a miserable first lap, and I guess must have got caught up in another incident. Abdul Kier Al Amiri was also a retiree, just ahead of James McRitchie, Ben Sharp, David Ayres, Ashley Beard, and Martin Plowman as well. He started in 4th place, nearly took the lead on the opening corner. In fact, he did take the lead for a handful of seconds before being spun. And, well, it's safe to say, after that, everything did not go so well for him. 2 more races to go, and now we'll find the reverse grid wheel for race 3 of the evening.
Yep, and there is the reverse grid up on your screen. We'll go ahead and roll that one as as it rolls around. And I don't know, call it some conspiracy. Oh, we are going to get 15.
Wow.
So we almost had a full -4, but we weren't lucky enough to have that here. So it is going to be 15th place here for the reverse grid. And if I can get the grid results put back on your screen.
Oh,
again,
no way. This is
going to be Rob Graham on the pole one more
Wow.
time. And it is going to be Nick McCarron, Craig Cameron. That will be your top 3. Adam Delmont and Kit Stevens. That rounds out your top 5 here for race number 3 of the evening. But as we just confirm, yes, it was 15th place. So we'll be back here in just a few moments' time here on the iRacing Esports Network here for race 3 of the BSR MX5 Pro Series. We'll see you in a minute.
chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMeritt at the line.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Racely to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit crash sideways.
saved it!
What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I trying, there's contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to the BSR MX5 Pro Series, live on the iRacing Esports Network, presented to you by Apex Racing TV. Once again, I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and once again, alongside me is Tyler Maxon. We're just greeting up for race 3 of the evening, and it is Rob Graham once again on pole position. Reverse grid of 15th once again, and he's very good at finishing 15th, so he's benefited from that. Nick McCurran starts in second with Craig Cameron in third, then it's Adam Delmont, Kip Stevens, Niles Carstensen, and Adam McNally. Rounding out the top 8, Adrian Hensley and Pete Van Gool, and also Jason Cooper rounding out the top 10. Just got 10 more seconds to go until this race 3 of the evening. Of course, we'll have one more after this. And, well, can Rob Graham have a better guy? He's by far the leader of the AM drivers. Next AM driver is Carl Yakula, down in 14th overall. What is going to happen? Race 3 of the evening at Sonoma. And away we go. Graham didn't get a good start last time, but he gets a better start this time. Can he cover off the inside? No, he's going to be vulnerable from Nick McCann, who just about gets his nose ahead, going through up through the hill. We saw a big incident through this first section of corners last time, but seemingly this time they've all got through cleanly. It's Nick McCann though with the fantastic start. He's up into the lead straight away. Graham a little bit under pressure from the drivers behind, but seemingly not too much contact amongst the majority. They've learnt their lesson from last time, but McCann already 7/10 of a second out in the lead for SimLab Racing, and he's really trying to make a gap early on ahead of Craig Cameron. Pete Spangle, the big leader, a big gainer out there, up 2 positions as Kip Stevens losing in lots of places out there at the moment.
Yeah, as we can see several drivers going off there, but yeah, Nick McCarron, he's definitely a quick starter. He's got that car already 7/10 ahead. Bob is obviously way outperforming his AM status here tonight. He's, as you said, the nearest AM driver is all the way down in 11th place, so Rob is definitely holding his own up there with drivers, as Adam Delmont is going to get ahead of Craig Cameron, and Peter Van Gool as well is putting Niles Carstensen in the SimLab car. So Van Gool is moving his way up. He's already up 3 positions. A lot of drivers actually able to get a nice clean start this time. Ben Sharp is mover so far though, up 8 positions. Actually take that back. That's Mark Plowman up 9, as I can see in the background. I can't quite tell exactly who that was. I think that was actually Jason Cooper. So Cooper way off there in the Swift Cooper Esports car, and they're currently going last corner with his teammate Charlie Summers. So we'll see how they can work. See if the the Swift Cooper Esports drivers can get together and push forward to the front. These play very, very fast. They'll get there, but they have teammates to work with them.
Yeah, because those two are certainly faster than the positions they currently lie in. Were very strong in race 1, where of course the grid positions were based on qualifying. Niles Carstensen maybe lost a couple of places right at the end of race 2, but he's still doing well currently in race 3. Currently in 5th position in the whole field. Pretty much no gaps whatsoever. Almost a move just ahead. Graham versus Delmont is ever so close currently. We've also got that Cameron versus Carstensen, but I think Delmont, he hasn't really got the exit, to be honest, on Graham, and he's going to have to stay behind. Here comes Carstensen, though, on Cameron, just behind these guys. Also, Van Gool is in this one. Carstensen just pulling ahead, and I think he's going to make that move all the way around the outside. Almost contact there with Van Gool on the outside of McNally, I think that was, or maybe Ayres. Those two are side by side now. And a couple of cars just off the circuit as well. Brian Holmes also going side by side for a moment. Luke Cooper making up a position. He's having to keep his teammate Charlie Summers behind us. Rob Graham is slipping down the order all of a sudden. He's had a big off.
Yeah, so Rob Graham dropping down the order. I'm actually just trying to find where he is. So Rob Graham dropping way down the order, and he has had some big contact, and there's also a driver a little bit further back where it looked like he was on his roof. So lots of contact there. I don't know exactly what happened. I'm going to try to spool up a replay for you. We'll see if we can get that after this race. But yeah, so that is a big incident for him. He's now going to lose a bunch of time here in race 3. His best hope is with the reverse grid. We're going to see side by side up the hill. That is Stevens and Roy Ververke as they head up the hill. Hopefully I pronounced that name right this time. But that's Dave Hampson sitting there, though, in the SimLab car. So he is looking now to get by both of these drivers. As Stevens gets really loose, he's going to lose a bunch of time, possibly 5 positions here as they head into the carousel sections. That's Carl Hardy around. Is the car, I believe. And yes, that is. So Carl Hardy loses the car. Martin Sampson and Steve Cooley, they're battling going in carousel, as well as Scott. And I believe that was actually, Dave Hampson and Kip Stevens.
Yeah, so Stevens losing out a little bit of contact just ahead. I at least heard it. I don't know if the viewers heard it as well. By the way, thanks for everyone who's tuned in for this iRacing Esports Network broadcast. About 50 viewers. Very much do appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't already, like the video, please. And also subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network, because there's some absolutely fantastic other series that you can watch. And also check out our own channel, Apex Racing TV. Almost side by side just behind. That was Cooper versus Cameron. Cooper just stayed behind. No, sorry, Cooper is now ahead of Craig Cameron. That was the battle for 8th and 9th. So Cooper is making his way back through the order. Summers got ahead of Cooper though. But I think, yeah, pay attention to the leaders, because McGowan isn't pulling away at the moment. As you can expect, to be honest, because Adam Delmont is a very quick driver. He's been really involved in the war so far today at Delmont, but finally he's kind of where he belongs on circuit. And well, he's doing a good job of keeping the race leader honest. Lars Carstensen also doing a good job, because he actually was running 5th after the first couple of laps, so clearly has done well since then, and he's only half a second off the race lead. But of course, Tyler, I imagine you've got experience in this in the real world. You don't want to fight too much, otherwise you're going to involve other drivers in your battle.
Yeah, and while you don't want to battle too much in these MX5s, it's all about momentum. So sometimes it can be very, very difficult to get that momentum again. So some of the time you just risk of involving 2 and 3 wide into the drag strip turn, and Niels Carr is going to move up in the 2nd spot, but Adam Delmont with the better run off the corner, he is going to get the move to the S section. So yeah, like you said, you don't want to battle too much, and it's so hard to get the momentum sometimes in these cars that you just have to take the risk of diving it down the inside and pop. But some of the time that actually can play to your advantage and allow you to get a difficult decision for these drivers, as Jamie Ayres is looking down the inside.
Oh dear.
Peter Van Gool, actually sorry about that, that was Adam Delmont, I believe he got into there, so that was a big incident. Jamie Ayres now trying to get by Niels Carstensen, who was actually the one who was the innocent bystander in that one, get tagged
Oh, we
as he
got a big
entered.
flip, sorry, on the pit straight. I think it was maybe Yakulet gets involved in that one. There he is, and we got a lot of cars in and impact. Is Yakulet going to rejoin the circuit unsafely? But all of a sudden there was a big checkup, and a few drivers made contact, and I think we had a barrel roll or two down the pit straight, and that's involved a lot of the drivers who were running in about 6th to 10th position. So really a shake-up of the order all of a sudden. Charlie Summers managed to get to that, to did Luke Cooper, so it just happened ahead of those drivers, I think. But Jamie is now up 9 places up into the podium.
Gonna have to think, will he get a penalty for that incident into the final corner, because that was a big hit that he gave that driver straight into Niels Carstensen, and was definitely able to be the beneficiary of that, as I think Carstensen now has some sort of damage. The car is definitely beat and battered all up, but Jamie Ayers is going to move up into second place nonetheless and try to chase down Nick McCarron. But let's quickly ride on board here with Niels Carstensen to see if he's got any sort of... That would be the big issue for these drivers, and he does not. So he is one lucky person to not have the steering damage after that one. Now, looking all over the back of Charlie Summers, looking to see if he can move up into 6th place. And with the small reverse grids that we're having, these drivers would start just about that same position in the next race. But Cameron is going to try to get the run off the corner, but Summers is going to get a good enough run. But he's also got to think he does have Luke Cooper just behind him in the Swift Cooper Esports car that he does have to deal with. So for him, he wants to try to make that move on Summers, but he knows if he can't get it done, Cooper is going to be right there to take advantage.
Yeah, definitely. It's a home sandwich. It's not a Swift Cooper sandwich. You don't call it a good sandwich. It's certainly a home sandwich currently. As we go back to this about Stephen Cooley. Again, AM drivers all kind of modelled up together. Very much show quite segregated currently the two classes. Big pack of pro drivers, big pack of AM drivers. Back to the lead. Carstensen still close to Ayers, and after that big pile-up, actually, it's really let them off the leash from the likes of McNally and Delmont. You can see how they're quite far behind. Is Ayers going to go for a move into this next corner? He is going to go for a move, and he's going to go for the lead. McCarron loses 2 positions in pretty much 1 corner there, and he didn't put up too much of defense. Maybe feels like it's best to keep his car in the best possible suit. Doesn't want to pick up too many instant points either, and he drops back into 3rd position there. So it's now Jamie Ayers, your race leader.
Yeah, so Jamie Ayers able to lead the race. And we have some drivers, though, just looking down the order here, who have moved up an insane amount of spots. Almari in the asymmetric car, he's moved up 21 spots from his starting position. So has Ben Sharp and Martin Plowman. So the 2 Fury SimSport drivers absolutely on the move there as they fly up the grid order. So that will hopefully be a good starting position for them in the next race, as Cameron is going to go side by side with Charlie Summers. He's not going to be able to get the move done through the straightaway kink, and he is just going to have to settle for 7th place for now. But as we work our way on lap 7, we will get 2 laps to go here in just 1 lap time. So these drivers that want to move up the grid, they are going to have to start doing that soon and quickly.
Yeah, Summers almost losing that position back. This race is really flowing past, it must be said. Of course, only approximately 15 minutes in length. As, so we got this big battle. Summers, Cameron, Cooper, Hefford, and Hendy currently Cherney a bit detached from this, back in 11th position. And we've seen so many runs, haven't we, coming out of the carousel so far today. And this is going to be another one, because you can see really wide there for Summers. Cameron eases his way back up into 6th position. Summers has to get back into a slipstream. Now he's got himself on the outside. This might be not the place to be, and he's really trying to almost oversteer, almost drift his way round the outside of his rival, and actually does pretty well not to lose any extra positions. just behind is Cooper and Hefford almost going side by side. Cooper just ahead at the moment. Oh, sorry, that's Hefford just ahead at the moment, trying to push out Cooper. He gets pushed wide, but he's found himself a little bit of space. 3 wide almost into this next corner at the end of the S's. Hefford pulling ahead. And nice move there. And all of a sudden, Cooper's now going to lose another position, potentially to Adrian Hendy just behind. Here comes Hendy down the inside, either side of a cone. And really wide there for Cooper. So not a good couple of corners for him. And you can just see how if you lose some momentum, as Hendy has now just done, it's easy to lose a position. And well, Adrian, despite his best efforts, has to remain in 10th place.
Yeah, Jack Ashton here just getting that move done on Stephen Cooley. So Ashton moving up another spot there in the Exide Energy car. Carl Hardy and Martin Sampson, they're battling for 6th place in the AM Championship. They also got Ben Sharp just behind them, also trying to move up another spot in this one. And Sharp is going to move up one more spot. He'll move up into 23rd place. So he's now only moved up 17 positions. And Martin Plowman, though, up 24 spots in the Fury Sim Sport car. They are on the move here in this third race.
Yeah, Plowman, who of course led briefly race 2 for a couple of seconds before getting spun around. You wonder what if they hadn't had that incident. But he's doing a good job in this race, no doubt. Here comes Hefford again on Summers, coming just about pulling ahead, and you can see now all of a sudden. Well, yeah, still Cherny's trying to catch up to these guys, and he is some 2 seconds a lap faster. You can just see him in the background in 11th place. I don't think he's going to quite catch these guys in time, unfortunately, as Carstensen is in range here for a move into the hairpin. And, well, maybe he's just leaving it till the very last lap. He's got just a few more corners to go because we are moving on to lap 9 out of 9 here at Sonoma. Not looking good for McCann Cutley. He's struggling to keep up with these guys, but it's hard to pick between Ayres and Carstensen.
Yeah, definitely a difficult one. I think this is going to be one of those races that comes down to the last corner. You can see just the line difference between Carstensen and Ayres as they head up through the first corner. And Ayres is very, very wide and very slippery there on the exits. So I think Carstensen right now, he's just letting Ayres use up his tires, push a little bit too hard possibly, and he's just going to try to take advantage of that here in the final corner. But they also got to think they have Nick McCarron just behind, who is ready to take anything that he possibly can. Keep in mind, Ayres and McCarron are teammates there at SimLab, so you know that if Carstensen makes any sort of wrong move, that they will both be coming at him there and trying to get them possibly doing some team orders there to really get by that driver. But they are going to battle, though, into the drag strip turn, and Ayres will keep himself up into the lead. So Ayres will lead as they head into the S section. There are some battles heading on further down the field, but this is the battle that we need to keep an eye on here. The leaders, they are catching up to some lap traffic. I didn't quite get a good look on who that was. Don't think that will affect it here as they head into the final corner. That actually may affect them as they head into the final corner, but lap traffic will get it out of the way. And I think Jamie Ayres is just a bit too far for any sort of a challenge. Carstensen, though, is falling back into the clutches of McCarron, but I don't think that he will have enough time to get there, as I think that is going to be your final finishing position. As we see a battle a little bit further back, Steve Hefford looking down the inside of Craig Cameron. Cameron is going to have the better run out of the corner, but Hefford is going to have Summers pushing him out into the kink, and it is going to be Hefford by just 3/100ths of a second as they cross the line. So that was as close as you want to get it there for 6th place. So Steve Hefford is able to finish 6th place here in the final, in the third race of the evening. Brian Holmes in 17th there. Another really close finish with Almari for 16th place, as we're just waiting on all these drivers to finish up. Not really any more battles anywhere further down the field. A couple drivers having a very, very, very bad race for them off the line. So definitely not how these drivers want to finish off the third race. But hopefully they will get a little bit larger reverse grid. Last time we were just almost no space from a full reverse -4. So if they can get a 50, which would be the entire field, then everyone will be reset, I believe. So as we just wait on the results to finalize, waiting on just a few drivers now to finish up, and we will be able to get the full, we will be able to get the reverse grid and the champion and the results up for you.
Yes, and by the way, Rob Graham was 6 laps down. So he paid a lot of money, actually, for us to put him on reverse grid pole for races 2 and 3. But, well, nothing can end. Nothing can put him on pole position from that position. He won't be eligible for the reverse grid as Jason Cooper crosses the line. And, well, that will be the end of the race. And we can now take you through the final standings. Jamie Ayres wins out half a second ahead of Niles Carstensen. What a fantastic battle. Races 1 and 2. Well, to be fair, race 1 was very close, but race 2 was quite comfortable. Race 3, anything but. Nick McCann, just ending up in 3rd place, was leading for most of the race, but ends up on the podium. Adam McNally, a little bit of a quiet 4th, but very nice 4th place. Adam Delmont was in 5th. Steve Hefford, 19th to 6th. Craig Cameron was in 7th with Charlie Summers in 8th. There's Luke Cooper and Adrian Hendy rounding out the top 10. Behind that was Alex Cherney. Kip Steers, Roy Verke was the winner of the AM drivers. Dave Hampson was in 14th. Then Scott Malcolm and Abdulkir Al Amri, who were 2nd and 3rd in the AM standings, respectively. Then was Brian Holmes, Carl Yacolet, Martin Plowman, Jack Ashton, Stephen Cooley, Ben Sharp, Carl Hardy, James McRitchie, and Steve Hansford. Rounding out the top 25. Behind that was Mikey Key, Charles Kellyman, Jeroen Yerson, Martin Sampson, Andy Maxwell, Dale Bennison, David Ayres, Ashley Beard, Cesar Rizzo, Jason Cooper, Stuart Dick, and then the retirees. Dick, by the way, was 1 lap down. So he will be eligible for points and also the reverse grid. The judges who did not finish and will not be scoring points or in the reverse grid are McDonald, Pete Van Gool, Josh Rayfield, Rob Graham, Rafe Cullinan, Liam Silkston, and Ben Mears in that 43 car field. Well, if this is 15 again, then, well, that would be quite remarkable. But we've seen 3 in a row on Apex Racing TV before. I would not bet against it today either.
Yep, and as we'll get the reverse grid up here for you, and we will roll the grid. So let's see, will we get another 15 on this one? No, we will not. We will get 30th, actually. And it is, again, just barely off a -2. So that will be currently, it will currently sit at Andy Maxwell on the pole. So Andy Maxwell will be on the pole. Martin Sampson in 2nd. Jerome Ursum in 3rd. Charles Kellyman in 4th. And Mikey Key will round out your top 5. For the drivers in the next race. Don't go anywhere. We have just one final short break here on the iRacing Esports Network. But we'll be back in just a few moments' time for race number 4, MX5 Pro Series. Don't go anywhere.
coming for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to the BSR MX5 Pro Series, live on the iRacing Esports Network, presented to you by Apex Racing TV. Once again, I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and once again, alongside me is Tyler Maxson, and we are preparing for race 4 of the evening here at Sonoma, and you can see it's dark. It is, in the sim, 24 minutes past 10 in the evening, the 15th.
There we go. So sorry about that one, folks. We had a bit of an issue on the side of our decided to stop working on us there, but we should be back live here on the iRacing Esports Network. Again, very, very sorry for that one, but currently it is Martin. .5 seconds here over Charles Kellyman and Mikey Key, who are battling right now for second and third. Again, do apologize for that one. We did have an issue with Restream server on us. But again, Tyler Maxson alongside Sam Fitzpatrick in the commentary booth here tonight. So Sam, we're joining in here a few laps into the race. Currently working on lap 3, but it is Martin Sampson out in the lead.
Yes, it is, currently. Starting in second position as well, but really nice start for him so far. Had a couple of issues. Jack Ashton currently in second position, but under quite big pressure at the moment. From the few cars behind. We had a big crash actually for the pole sitter, Andy Maxwell, on the opening lap, and we've just had another crash just behind going up the hill to turn 2. Not quite sure who that was, but yeah, not too much to report on. A few incidents though so far in this race for Oswald Gap.
Yeah, so again, we do apologize for that one. I don't know why technology failed us, but yes, we are working through now this final race of the evening here for the BSR Pro Series. And there's a good bit of battling all the way through the field. A bunch of drivers moving up and down a lot of positions. As I see, James McRitchie resets back to the pit lane, so he is having some sort of issue tonight. But they're pretty much 2 by 2 all the way through. This is a battle for second place right now. Jack Ashton up into second place. Brian Holmes follows him through, and Carl Jacquelette will be pushed down to 4th there. But those drivers going 9th for Jacquelette, 11 spots up for Brian Holmes, and 9 spots up for Jack Ashton. So they were able to benefit from the reverse grid there, having to start a little bit further back. But Martin Sampson doing an amazing job to keep that lead. He's got a 4-second lead right now. So it's got a 2.8 seconds, lead over Jack Ashton. So it's going to be very, very difficult to catch him because he definitely has the pace. We've seen that throughout the other races tonight. But Martin Plowman currently battling with Jerome Ursum here as they work. Is the fastest driver on the racetrack right now, and he is coming and closing that gap in on Martin Sampson.
Yeah, 1.5 seconds faster on that last lap as Plowman makes a nice move around the outside of turn 1. Also got 3 wide just behind, and that's going to be ever so close. Maybe a little bit of contact there, squeezing through the middle there. Nicely done there from Al Amri. Someone's also getting ahead of Hefford. Hefford in, just pulling ahead, but 2 by 2 as a big crash there for Scott Malcolm. And a couple of other cars as well.
Peter Van Gool is also involved.
And Joe McDonald, I think, also dropping down the field. So a few cars involved in that fiasco. As Charlie Summers go back to this battle nice and quickly, because he's certainly been in, certainly paid a lot of attention to him in races 3 and 4, because he's been in that battle, come for the top 8 or so positions for a while. Currently running in 10th place, but you can see the line of cars. You've got Cooper, Carstensen, Ursum, Ayres, and also Hardy as well, all queuing behind. Car into the barrier, that is Martin Plowman. Also about Adam McKnight having a small off, but Martin Plowman off the circuit. And it's really disappointing for him after making a couple of good moves up in the top 8, I think he was. But he's gone spinning out of the race through that Estes section.
Yeah, so not the way he would have wanted to end off his night. But Martin Sampson has got big issues on his hands, and that is in the form of Jack Ashton, who is coming very, very rapidly. He closed in 2 seconds on that last lap, so that was incredible. And Martin Sampson, I think, is just going to concede the position there to Jack Ashton. He has a big, big gap over Carl Jacquelet in second place in the AMS champion. Right on the back of Jacquelet, so he will see if he can make up another position. He's currently up 15 spots. The drivers really, I'm seeing a lot of drivers really far down spots as well as really far up spots. I am going to try to get a replay for you. I do have Mark Plowman at the beginning of this race and why he lost 30 spots, as we also have a battle way further deep in the field. Coolinham is currently down the inside of Ben Sharp in the Fury Sim Sport car. He's also dropped down a lot of positions, so something has happened to him in the course of. It's Steve Heffer, though, and Luke Cooper. They're battling here, going through the S section. Hefford will get out ahead of Cooper as they work their way through that section, but Niels Carstensen is teammates with Luke Cooper, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them kind of play teammate to each other and towards the front, as we also see a lot of curb there as they go through the final bit of the S section, and wouldn't be surprised if that would result to him in a slowdown.
A little bit of contact just ahead. Cherney was very close to, I think Cherney was very close to Key. I managed to make the move. Also Cherney very close to Jacquelet now. Only 1.5 tenths between those two. That's the battle for 4th and 5th position. Jacquelet, apologies, Carl, after correcting us earlier on. I've completely forgotten how to spell, but no, Carl still ahead of Alex currently. Of course, this could be a good point all for Carl today. Has some really good results in that car. So it would be pretty good for him, and not too far off the AM leader currently. Martin Sampson, only 2.5 seconds separating those two. By the way, Holmes managed to get up into second place, got past Sampson just before. Cherney still really close to Jacquelet. Might just be worth going back to that one, as Al Amri has a issue, going very slowly out there. After a pretty good start to the day, hasn't really materialised into a great evening overall. Jacquelet then has been overtaken by Cherney. Here comes Key as well, almost making the move into the hairpin as well. But yeah, Jacquelet doing well to hang on to that one at the moment. Summers only just behind. Hefford and Cooper and Carstensen are undoubtedly going to be catching these guys very quickly, so could have a nice, tasty bout of P5 on our hands facing.
Yes, we could have a very, very good battle here for P5 and maybe even P4. Keep in mind, Alex Cherney is not too far ahead of that train, just half a second ahead. So, but Charlie Summers here looking to make up a move on Mikey Key. He's going to look down the inside into the final corner, and I think he's just going to be able to get that move done. I wouldn't be surprised if Key battles with him too hard. Currently, Key third place in the AM race, as we have a good battle here on the inside of Kip Stevens. Stevens should have the better run out of the final corner, but I think he's made too much of a mistake on the entry to get enough to get him back up into the 12th position. So just not enough quite there, but Jacquelet really having to defend hard here from Charlie Summers, as Summers is looking to make up another position here, and he'll go down the inside into the carousel section, as that is one of those drivers really losing time. That's Martin Sampson.
Oh, so yeah, he was up in 3rd place just a few corners to go, and all of a sudden he's dropped down into 7th place. I was talking about him, we were talking about him potentially winning the race. Remember, 9-lap race. On lap 6, he was leading the race. He's now all the way down in 7th place, and it could get even worse with the likes of Steve Hefford just behind. Summers under pressure from Jacquelet once again. He's done an awesome job at retaliating that one, but here comes Key down the inside of Jacquelet. But Jacquelet actually with a pretty good launch coming out of that corner. They're currently side by side, just going through the S's, and Jacquelet has pulled ahead momentarily. and now permanently. So he stays ahead of Key. Sampson trying to respond once again, but he's clearly just a mistake there from Sampson previously, or maybe contact with Cherney. But this win looks quite difficult for him now. Could still get a solid top 3. That's looking good for him. You can see Hefford now joining the back of that train.
Yeah, Hefford joining the back of the train. And this, though, is the battle for the AM lead. So Carl Jacquelet currently taking the lead of the AM. Key is going to drop down in a second, and Martin Sampson in third. So while there is a battle going on for the lead of the overall race, which we'll turn over to now, Jack Ashton is got a ton of pressure here from Brian Holmes, who's been on a charge here in the slipstream. Let's see, though, as Ashton is going to have to burn off a bit more of his tires and push a bit harder to keep ahead. We'll see who can capitalize on that. We'll keep an eye on that battle. But let's go back here to the battle for the AM lead. It is Sampson, Key, and Jacquelet. That is your battle there. Currently, Jacquelet pulling away just 0.7 of a second. Sampson and Mikey Key is going to get in between of them, which is just going to separate out that battle just a bit more. But Steve Hefford is currently 7th overall, 5th in the pro standings. He's got 2 more AMs between him and a 5th place finish here in the to end off his night for him. This has definitely been an interesting evening with an interesting track, being that this is such a challenging track and there's so many high-speed corners. We've seen a lot of incidents. A lot of these drivers just happy to survive, I would be sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And out in the lead, Jack Ashton. It's looked like he's going to survive this race 4 because he's just a couple of corners away from the race win. We've got this fantastic battle, but out in the lead, Ashton is going to be able to hold off Brian Holmes. Nice retaliation there from Holmes, and Ashton celebrating a bit early. It's going to be close across the line, but Jack Ashton wins race 4 at Sonoma. Carl Jacquelet is going to finish top of the AM drivers. Can Sampson hold off Carstensen? Yes, and also Key beat Cooper by 1/100th of a second. Must have been ever so close between those two at the checkered flag. That was the battle for 7th and 8th in the end. Just Key and Sampson dropping a little bit off Jacquelet as it turned out. And just the remaining drivers coming through now. Are there any battles? Rayfield and Cooper are pretty close. 0.3 of a second between those two, but nothing's going to change across the line. Also, Beard and Benison could change. Only 0.2 of a second between the two of them at the moment. And Beard, yeah, just behind, and doesn't look like he's going to be able to make the move. Some nice defense there from Benison through the final couple of corners, and it will be, yeah, Benison 31st, Beard 32nd. And we'll just wait for Scott Malcolm and Adrian Hendy to cross the line. And then I believe all the results will be finished. As I can see, 34 finishes in the end. So pretty much the same as we've had for those previous 3 races. Because we've got interviews coming up. But first, we'll go through the race results. And it's Jack Ashton winning out. Hasn't had a particularly good day today, but that race win will certainly leave it on a good note. Brian Holmes only 0.2 of a second behind him, the from 14th on the grid. Good effort. Alex Cherney, very good 3rd place, with Charlie Summers in 4th. Carl Jacquelet, top of the AM drivers in 5th, with Steve Hefford in 6th. There's Michael Key in 7th, Luke Cooper in 8th, Martin Sampson in 9th, and Niles Carstensen, another solid result for him, in 10th. Behind that was Jamie Ayres, Adam Delmont, Kip Stevens, Adam McNally, Kyle Hardy, Abulkir Al Amri, Ewan Ursum, Ben Sharp, Craig Cameron, Rafe Cullinan, Roy Viverke, Steve Hansford, David Hampson, Charles Cayman, Josh Rayfield rounding out the top 25, and then behind that was Jason Cooper, Andy Maxwell, Rob Graham, Martin Plowman, Joe McDonald, Dale Benison, Ashley Beard. Scott Malcolm was the last of the drivers on the lead lap, but Adrian Hendy will also score points in 34th place. He was only 1 lap down. But then the retirees were Nick McCarron, who's had a very good day today, but well, not in that race 4. Stuart Dick, Steve Cooley, Pete Van Gool, James McRitchie, David Ayres, Cesar Rizzo, Liam Silkston, and Benjamin Mears as well. So, like I said, interview time. Hopefully we'll have a chat to a couple of the drivers, and I think first up we're going to have a chat with Carl Yacolet, which after mispronouncing his name for the first couple of races, hopefully we adjust that in the last couple. But Carl, well done out there, a pretty solid points haul today, and a nice race 4 victory.
Yeah, very chuffed with that. I was just looking at the results. It's a second, a 10th, third race to forget, and then a 5th. I'm very pleased, very happy indeed.
Was this a circuit that you think really suited your driving style? Did you have a good setup for this race?
I had 2 setups, different for one for the night race where it got a bit cooler. When it's hot, you've got to look after your tyres a bit, especially into the hairpin. Just take it a little bit easier, let the front tyres not get cooked, and you'll have a good race.
Absolutely, and you seem to do a pretty good job at avoiding the majority of the mess, at least. Was this circuit particularly difficult in terms of the racecraft?
It is difficult. It's 99% racecraft, this track. The speed itself is not critical. It really is racecraft. It's a technical circuit.
Absolutely, and looking forward to next week. Being the professional commentator I am, do not know where we are next week. Is it Silverstone next week, actually?
No, I think it's that Australian one, Mount Panorama.
Ah, right.
Bathurst.
Good circuit?
Yeah, I like that circuit. I like some of the tales that go with that circuit in real life. The authorities won't let you take more than 1 case of beer in, apparently.
Yes.
But as it's a national park, people go in earlier in the week and bury it.
Yes, I've heard some
There's always a way.
stories about that, yeah. Been great to talk to you, Carl. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Big shout out to our sponsor, Year One Racing. They're fabulous flip-flops.
Thanks, Carl, and we'll see you soon on Apex Racing TV.
Yeah, I'll be here next week. Thank you very much. Thanks for the commentary.
Thanks.
Good night.
So next up, I think we'll have a chat with Adam McNally, who had also a decent points haul today. Adam, not sure if you got a podium out there, but you certainly got a 4th place, and that was a pretty cool 4th place because you really had to work for it.
Oh, it was a really tough track. Lots and lots of battling. But yeah, happy with the 4th place. Not quite a podium, but we've got two wins for the team tonight. It's really all that matters. Points for the team. Congratulations to Bry and Jack for winning race 2 and race 4.
How did you find that race 4 with the darkness ensuing and also the track temperatures dropping as well? Did you notice much of a difference?
Well, to be honest with you, I got some damage in lap 1, so my car was a bit slow. So I really couldn't use the grip to its advantage. But the battling was still great. Managed to work my way up to 15th, so happy with that.
And in terms of next week at Bathurst, we believe it is. Do you fancy that circuit?
Can't wait. These cars on that track are great fun. Like, really, really good fun. Should make for some epic battles. Some big crashes as well. Guaranteed there's going to be some big crashes.
Absolutely. We've seen some pile-ups around that circuit. Yeah, top of the mountain. When was the last time you raced there? Do you reckon there's going to be another pile-up?
Oh, like it's like I said, over the top of the mountain, the car gets so loose as you start dropping back down the hill again. So if anywhere the pile-up is, it's going to be there, or it's going to be a silly one down the back straight, I think.
Yeah, we'll certainly keep our fingers crossed for all 4 races, but I'm not sure if our chances are too good for that one. And in terms of the championship, what are your aims for the championship, Adam? Are you aiming for a good result in the? Are you just aiming for the teams, or have you got any goals in the drivers?
Well, we've got Jack leading the pro championship, so the aim is to keep him there. We've got Jerome head of the amateur championship, so keep him there. And it's very close between the couple lads and the team's championship, but that's our main focus. Team points come first.
Yeah, absolutely. Been great to talk to you, Adam. Is there any shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, as always, the lads behind the scenes, use lot for doing the broadcasts. Excite Energy, our main sponsors. We've got Racing Mentor, Motorsport Days Live, who have a big event coming up in November. We've got the Prio Premature Baby Foundation, Luxim 24, ER12 Gaming as well. And obviously a big thank you to all our drivers who take part every week and get the points for the team.
Thanks, Adam, and I'm sure we'll see you soon on Apex Racing TV.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, I think that's pretty much it for the interviews today. But Tyler, another fantastic evening of racing in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. And well, if we are at Bathurst next week, that's going to be good fun, isn't it?
Yes, and I actually can confirm we are at Bathurst at Mount Panorama next week, so that should be an absolutely incredible race. Like you were saying, most likely going to have an absolute pile up at some point in one of those every single races, whether it happens in turn one or going down the mountain or down the back straightaway, I don't know. But there is one thing almost confirmed for every single Bathurst race: there will be at least one pile up in the race. So should be interesting to see if the drivers take a kind of a different strategy, maybe a pit lane start or anything like that to try to avoid some of those incidents. So we'll see if anyone does anything like that next week. But yeah, there's not too much more that there is to say, really.
Yes, well, hopefully you've enjoyed this broadcast on the iRacing Esports Network. If you have, certainly do leave a subscription because, well, there's plenty of other fantastic series that this channel presents to you. And also leave a like to the video if you could. And also check out Apex Racing TV as well if you want to hear our fantastic voices once again. Yeah. Hopefully you've had a good time watching this stream. And from me and from Tyler as well, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.